What's up, guys? Today I have a sandbag update video for you. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I was ordering a Cerberus sandbag. Well, I got that, I filled it up all the way, went to lift it, and I couldn't even lap it. I just wasn't strong enough. I was a bit surprised because it was supposed to be a manageable weight jump from my Iron Mine bag, but I just couldn't do it, and I've realized it was for a few main reasons. The first and most obvious reason is that the Cerberus bag is just an entirely different animal from the Iron Mine bag. Even tightly packed and filled almost to its limit, the Iron Mine bag just isn't as wide. I can still wrap my arms all the way around it and clasp my fingers, which makes it a lot easier. The Cerberus bag, it's so wide, I can barely even get my fingers to touch, wrapping all the way around it, which definitely puts me at a disadvantage. The other main thing I've realized is that I just haven't actually trained much for lifting a tightly packed sandbag. Pretty much all of my time has been with a loosely packed sandbag. I talked a lot in the past about the benefits of lifting a bag that isn't filled all the way, and I do still agree with everything I said. I do think that lifting a loosely packed sandbag kind of mimics a wrestling match because every inch that bag moves, the sand is shifting on you and it makes it very difficult to lift. I think that lifting a bag like that makes you very good at that part of the lift where the bag is already up on your chest and you're trying to get it up to your shoulder. I think it's very good for that. And for that reason, it's made me a lot better at shouldering things. And I'll still lift loosely packed sandbags just for that benefit. But what it doesn't translate to is lifting a tightly packed bag off the ground. When you go to lift a loosely packed sandbag off the ground, what you'll realize is that it kind of gives you an advantage because the sides lift up first. So by the time you're actually handling the whole weight of the bag, your hands are already kind of at mid-shin. So when I went to lift a tightly packed bag, I realized I needed to lift all of that weight with my hands completely on the ground, and I just hadn't trained for it. In the past, I've said, if we consider the lift from the ground to the shoulder as one movement, then the weak point of that movement would probably never be the lift off the ground, because it's just so difficult to shoulder things. But what I'm realizing is that may have just been lack of experience on my part. When I first started trying to shoulder heavy things, I had already been lifting things off the ground for years. I think I just didn't have the skill of shouldering down yet. I just added a bunch of weight to this sandbag here, and as you can see off the ground, it's already looking close to max effort. It's close to as much as I could possibly do. Well, I tried to shoulder it today, and I actually got pretty close, which I found very surprising. It's possible that the difference in strength between off the ground and onto the shoulder might not be as big as I expected. Maybe I've just become a shouldering specialist and I'm just very good at it now, but I think the more realistic answer is that if you can lift it off the ground, you have a much better chance of shouldering it than I once expected. So those are just a few things that I've learned over the last few weeks. One, not all sandbags are the same. Two, a loosely packed sandbag and a tightly packed sandbag are different lifts. They're both good, but they don't necessarily translate to each other. Three, the difference in strength between lifting a bag off the ground and trying to shoulder it might not be as big as I once thought. And four, I think sandbags are just a lot more difficult than stones are. Once you start lifting enough weight, the sandbags, they're not as condensed as a stone, so they just get really big. You know, they're big and awkward. It's hard to pick them up. It's hard to carry them. I think they're a lot more difficult than stones. So I think over this coming winter, it's going to be wet outside. My backyard is always muddy. I won't have a chance to lift stones as much. So I think I'm going to try to focus on lifting these sandbags a lot. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to translate to stone lifting because I already have realized that sandbags seem to make you a lot more powerful when it comes to shouldering things, especially that loosely packed bag. And I think now that I'm trying to lift these heavy, tightly packed bags, it's going to make lifting heavier stones off the ground a lot easier too. So I hope you guys like the video, and I'll catch you next time.